Hello, nerds. Welcome to the Nerd Trivia Game Show podcast that challenges the guests' knowledge of their favorite fandoms. Because on this podcast, the guest is the expert. I'm your host, Joe the Adlib Alien, aka Double A. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe if you want to support the show. New episodes out every Tuesday. All streaming and social media links in the description. Here to prove that she is a Buffy universe culture nerd is...
So I'm Devon J. Hall. I'm the loudmouth brown girl from Canada. I got the name because I got arrested for having a panic attack on an airplane. And the cop was like, "You're a loudmouth brown B." And I was like, okay, I'm going to make that famous. And so I've been the loudmouth brown girl for 3 years now.
Loudmouth brown girl, welcome to Culture Nerds.
Thank you for having me. I'm super, super excited. I've been like all week tweeting the countdown to this episode. I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited too. All right, let's do it. We usually start off with a little random trivia. Now, these are either true or false, just to get you kind of warmed up. All right.
Bring it on.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Bring it on.
All right. As Secretary of State, Jefferson Davis imported camels for the army to ride.
That's not fair. I thought these were going to be about Buffy and Angel. I don't know that. I'm Canadian.
It's all right. It's just a 50-50. You got to say either true or false.
As Secretary. That sounds wild. I'm going to go with false.
It's actually true.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. One more. The horned toad defends itself by squirting blood from its eyes.
True?
Correct.
Nice.
All and now just to get you started on the Buffy trivia.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to miss this one. But obviously in the first episode, we're introduced to the heroine of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Which actress played Buffy Summers?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
There you go. Now you're getting warmed up. All right. So now we're getting into the real stuff, and it's going to count against you and your level if you can't get some of these right. These first 10 will be multiple choice. You can go ahead and stop me whenever you want. But I do give you the multiple choice just because these are sort of the easier end of them. All right. So, ironically, Buffy's one true love was revealed to be a vampire called Angel. What was the name Angel was given at birth? Was it Liam, Robert, Sam, or John?
Oh, wow. You really went in for this. I love it. I want to say Liam.
Correct. It is.
Is it? Because I was pulling that out of my ass. I had no idea.
Correct. It is indeed Liam. It is indeed Liam. So you're up 1.
That was a lucky guess.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Joss Whedon, the brains behind Buffy the Vampire Slayer, formed his own production company to air the show. What was its name? Was it Bad Vampire Productions, Joss Whedon Productions, Buffy Productions, or Mutant Enemy Productions?
Mutant Enemy Productions.
Correct. Do you remember seeing that at the end of
every single episode? Yeah, and I loved it because it was called Mutant, and it Buffy in general the way that he did the show, there were so many throwouts to things that had come before that, like, Mutant Productions was a throwout to the Mutant comic books, which he grew up reading, which I always thought was really cool.
That's dope. Nice. All right.
Yeah, I got this. Bring it on.
Okay, question number 3. All right. Number 3. Rupert Gills was Sunnydale High's librarian until the school burned down at the end of season 3. His unemployment resulted in him buying a store to earn a living. What was the name of this store? The Magic Box, Gil's Palace, the Box of Tricks, or Hocus Pocus?
As a purist, I'm going to correct you. It was Rupert Giles.
Ooh, thank you. That's what I want. Rupert
And
Giles.
it was the Magic Box.
The Magic Box.
And I remember because I used to think, and I still think, that just sounded like the dirtiest name. And I love that Joss got away with using it, because it's, I mean, when I think the Magic Box, I think women.
I mean, that's not, it's not a far leap. It's not a far leap.
It's not a far leap.
No. All right, you might have to correct my pronunciation on these names again.
All right.
I'm totally cool with that. I really like that you did that as a purist. I'm going to say Anya.
Yep.
Anya, the ex-devil, surrendered from, Le Perot. Man, I don't know why I gave myself this job here. All right. Give me a sec here. She was suffering from leperophobia, which was first mentioned in season 4 episode Fear Itself. She had an irrational fear of which carrot-eaten animal?
Bunnies.
There you go. Correct.
Which is hilarious, because
Correct.
I now have a fear of bunnies because of that show.
Seriously.
They're the freakiest, creepiest things. They are so quiet. They will bite you. They don't care. They, like, everyone's like, they're so cuddling. No.
Okay.
I'm Anya. Bunnies are the devil's toys. They're just wrong.
You're gonna feel very uncomfortable then, because I live in a house with 4 bunnies.
Oh. No.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Right. Couldn't visit.
All right. So, question number 5. What birthday had Buffy celebrated when Angel lost his soul? Was
18.
it 18?
18.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Incorrect.
Really?
Incorrect. It's actually her 17th.
Oh.
It's her 17th birthday.
That was one of my favorite episodes, because Drusilla, who is like the Malkavidian vampire, the crazy one who is both psychic and completely lunatic, she has this line where she starts clapping and she goes, do it again. And the way that she pronounces it, like, she's not an English vampire.
Yeah.
It's just so, that whole scene, and Angel having lost his soul and his purity, and the way that Joss and the writers approach abusive relationships in that whole storyline. It was because I had been going through my own abusive relationships. Everything about that whole storyline was just perfectly done. Like, it was beautiful. Wow. So I cannot believe I got that wrong. I'm really ashamed of myself.
Whoa. I mean, you miss some of those specific details sometimes. It happens to me.
If I had waited if I had waited until you gave me the answers, I would have gotten it right.
Yeah, it might have been your hubris
There you
that
go.
got you that time. All right. Number 6. Buffy died twice. The first time in season 1 and the second time in season 5. Her brief death in season 1 caused a new Slayer to be activated. What was her name? Susan, Jane, Kendra, or Lucy? Or Lucy?
Kendra.
Correct, Kendra. Did it stand out to you immediately as I said it?
I remember Kendra because when I first started watching Buffy, I was at a friend's house and she's like, "You got to watch this show. It's really great." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not." I really wasn't into vampires and demons at the time. And when the show came on, I was like, "Well, wait a minute, a girl that like fights demons. This is actually pretty cool." And then the cast was so whitewashed that when Kendra came around, like she brought tears to my eyes because then it was like, not only can girls fight back, but Black girls can fight back too. And that was really huge. So that Kendra has always been one of my favorite characters. And the death of that character was genuinely heartbreaking.
Damn. Okay. All right. Number 7. The episode Once Over With feeling was completely different to any other, as well as being the most technically complex episode. Why was this? It was in black and white, it was a musical, it was in 3D, or it was in a foreign language.
It was a musical, and it was so painful to watch.
Oh my God. Why was it painful to watch?
Oh, they had this like redheaded devil who fed on every time you sang a song, he fed on your energy, and so he was killing you slowly. And it was about this new character, Dawn, that had been introduced, and through the magic of magic, Dawn just like magically appeared, and everybody knew her and knew that she existed, and yet she didn't somehow fit into this world, and she didn't fit because of the fact that a bunch of monks had created her out of magic. And so it was sort of this anchor episode, like trying to explain why she doesn't fit in as a teenage girl whose friends are all older and all fighting demons. And really, it was like she doesn't fit in because she's not human and she's not of this earth and she just doesn't belong in this circle of people. And it was just so painful to watch because of all of the teenage angst. Like, it's the stuff that kids go through. The attention seeking and the stealing stuff because you want someone to notice that you're in pain and no one's noticing, right? And I resonated with that so much that it, like, and then the singing and the dancing, like it was just cringeworthy. And then you've got Buffy being like, "Yeah, y'all ripped me out of heaven. I was in heaven and you took me out of heaven to bring me back here, not once but twice." And so it was all this emotion, just kind of, it was almost too much emotion. You know what I mean? Like it was I just wish they'd toned it down just a little bit, because in comparison to the rest of the show, it was just overdone.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. I've never really been a fan of like musicals in general. So like when a show of mine does a musical, it is pretty cringeworthy for me. I know, like for me, it's sort of the fact of like, how does everybody know all of this? And you know, they use sort of like weird explanations like magic and whatever, but it's just like sometimes it still doesn't work.
Yeah, no, the only part that I really loved was watching Rupert Giles, who's Anthony Stephen Head, sing, because he puts, and there was a couple episodes where he sang, he's just so good at it. And you just kind of lose yourself in the music, and it fit the character. And in that particular episode, it didn't fit for the rest of the characters. Like Spike singing, really?
Yeah.
A 1980s vampire that's supposed to look like a punk rocker singing a love song, like, it just didn't fly.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Question 8. Willow's boyfriend, Oz, was a regular throughout seasons 2 to 4. He played lead guitar in a band which appeared in the Bronze regularly. What was the name of the band? Bare Naked Ladies, REM, Santana, or Dingoes Ate My Baby?
Dingoes Ate My Baby. I absolutely love Oz. He was such a good character. And I can't remember the name of the actor off the top of my head, but he's such an underutilized actor. Like, he's so funny. He's so charismatic. He's everything you want in a character. He can do anything from Buffy, where he's playing a werewolf, to what's that Mike Myers movie? Austin Powers. Like, he's got it all. Yeah. He's got the range, and he hasn't found that project yet where he can, like, completely envelope himself into it. But I'm telling you, he's going to be an Oscar winner one day. No doubt.
What's the last thing you've seen him in?
He had a cartoon show on the Cartoon Network, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was called, but it was raunchy and just off the wall hilarious. And it was, like, so unexpected, because in Buffy, he's low-key funny, and he's kind of got those quips, and he's, like, super chill and super relaxed. And every once in a while, they would give him a line that was hilarious. But in this cartoon, it was just nonstop funny. And I think that's the last thing that I saw him in, which is a shame, because he should be killing it right now.
Okay. All right. Question 9. Who did Xander lose his virginity with? Cordelia, Anya, Willow, or Faith?
Faith.
Faith, correct.
Yeah. I really liked that episode a lot.
What do you remember the most about the episode?
It was so funny because Xander spent his whole life, once he found out about vampires, just hating them. Like, they killed his best friend. They destroyed his city. They basically took everything from him that made him innocent and pure. And Angel specifically, he hated because, Angel was everything that Xander wasn't, but also he was a vampire. And in this episode, you see Faith and Xander connect, and they have sex, and Xander's like, yes, I found an ally. I found somebody that understands me, and, I'm going to fall in love. And it was that sensation that guys go through when they first have sex of, like, I'm in love because she had sex with me. Meanwhile, Faith is like, no, it was just sex. And it was such a powerful moment for women, because of the fact that at that time in television, Sex and the City hadn't come out yet. And so nobody was talking about the fact that sometimes girls just like to have sex, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And that doesn't make them a slut or a whore. It just makes them somebody that likes sex. And Joss Whedon was like, no, some women just like to have sex. And that was such a confusing thing for Xander, because it's such a confusing thing for men in general, that women can roll over and be like, peace, man, see you later. That for him to put that out there on a show that was predominantly targeted towards young women was kind of unheard of. And that's what made that episode really powerful, is that, like, he was saying, women can enjoy sex and not have it be a big thing. Whereas guys, on the other hand, they get emotional and women don't always. And that's not something anybody had ever said before.
Right. That makes sense. It seems like a real flip of the script of what usually is portrayed in a lot of, in a lot of shows generally, that it's like, the women, when they sleep with you, they become, super emotional, and you really can absolutely distance yourself from it. It really, showed it's like, hey, sometimes it's the opposite direction. Like it's not always, it's not always one way or the other.
Exactly. And that was really important because I grew up Catholic, and so there was always this stigma that, like, if you have sex, you're going to go to hell. Well, Faith had sex, and she got to be a badass superhero. So,
Nice.
like, that was a little bit, I don't know if that was the intended direction that he was going for, but it did definitely flip a switch in my brain that, like, just because you have sex with somebody doesn't mean that you have to marry them and you're going to fall in love and everything is going to be perfect, right?
Yeah, it introduced you to a new idea, which is great. I've learned so many new ideas from just watching television endlessly. All right. Number 10. Where did Oz and Willow meet? The magic shop, the Bronze, a career fair, or a coffee shop?
Oh, that's a hard one.
We're starting to get into the hard ones.
Okay, this one's difficult because I know he saw her in a Halloween episode where she turned into a ghost.
Right.
And I know he saw her at the Bronze, but I feel like it's the career day.
Is that your final answer?
I think so, yeah. I'm going to go with career day.
All right, career fair? Correct.
Nice.
Correct. All right.
9 out of 10 ain't bad.
Yeah, right now you're doing pretty good. All right. Now we're past the 10 mark. We're moving on to the more difficult ones. And This is just going to be an open answer question.
Okay.
So I'm not going to give you any options. You're just going to tell me what the answer to the question is. This is where your hints might come in handy. Just remember, you do have to answer one of the random trivia questions in order for me to give you that partial hint.
Okay.
All right. So, number 11. Who sired Darla, and then who sired Angel?
Darla was sired by the Master, and Angel was sired by Darla.
Correct.
Which was awesome because she was such a cool vampire.
Yeah.
She was amazing. Like she started off as this typical, like, teenage girl in a school uniform, and she looked so innocent and sweet, and then, like, no, she's this volatile homicidal maniac. And then you see the throwbacks in later episodes to when Angel was first sired, and she just had this range of ability that was just phenomenal. Like, she could play a duchess from the 18th century. She could play a homicidal vampire trying to take over the world in the 21st century. And she was crazy and fun. And by the end of it, in the later episodes in Angel, she ends up getting pregnant, and the soul of her baby lets her know what it's like to be human again. And so then she's playing this humanoid vampire thing, having a baby, and, like, she just did so good. She was so amazing in every single scene and episode, and you believed whatever it was she was selling you. And I love Darla so much. She's great.
That's amazing.
I told you, like, I could do 10 years on these characters.
I love it. I'm loving every second of it. All right. 12. In the episode Becoming Part 1, what was Buffy doing at her previous high school when her first watcher went up to her?
Wasn't she sitting on the stairs?
You're very close.
I feel like she was sitting on the stairs talking to. I can't remember because they changed it from the movie. I feel like she was sitting on the stairs talking to her friends. That's wrong.
I'm gonna give you this one because you got the sitting on the step. The full answer would have been sitting on the steps sucking a lollipop.
Oh, right, yeah.
All
yeah,
right,
Joss was really into the teenage sexualization thing. He was really working out some stuff back then.
Yeah, I'm so sure he was.
It's like the lollipop and the short skirts and the plaid thing. Like he was definitely working on some stuff.
Yeah, I think culturally, the culture in general was working out some stuff.
The 90s were a weird time, man.
Yeah, it was a real Wild West.
There was a lot of booze and not enough weed, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. All right. 13. Who jumped into the portal at the end of season 5?
Which portal? There's been so many in that show.
Okay.
Season 5 was the year Buffy died that year. Yeah, it's Buffy.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay, Buffy, correct. Can you get some insight on sort of like the background that they gave on the answer?
Ugh. I hated this episode so much because, first of all, the show is called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah. You can't kill off your main character. It's not canon. It's not cool.
Yeah.
But you especially cannot kill off your main character for a character that was brought to life by magic monks who literally turned a ball of energy into a human being to prevent an evil god from a demon universe from getting hold of the ball of energy that was a key to open up the door to the, it was so confusing and stressful. Season 5 was terrible. It was horrible. It was very stressful. It was very emotional, and I just don't want to think about it.
Okay. Moving on. We'll just leave it in the past. I don't really want to trigger your trauma. I get it.
It was absolutely traumatizing because when Buffy died the first time, she came back a few minutes later, right? Yeah. When Buffy died the second time, we had to wait 6 months for her to come back to life. Wow. So it was like, what do you get? And then she came back as a robot.
What? Okay. I don't...
Exactly.
I'm not... Okay. I'm not sure following the full canon of this show.
They built a Buffy robot, okay? In season 6.
Okay.
And so it's like you leave off season 5 and Buffy is dead.
Right.
You get to season 6 and somehow Buffy's alive, and they don't tell you right away that it's a robot. You don't find out that it's a robot until the vampires kill the robot. And then the town gets overrun, and then they got to bring her back from the dead, but they don't unbury her. So not only do they bring her back from the dead, but she's got to claw her way out from the grave.
Okay, interesting.
So it was very stressful.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot.
It was a lot for her to go through. She had a hard life.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. 14. Which 2 characters did actor Tom Lenk play?
I don't even know who that is. Tom Lenk. Can I have a hint?
All right.
Have I earned a hint?
Well, I'll ask you the question and you tell me if it's true or false, and I will give you a
Okay.
hint. I'll give you half the answer.
Okay.
All right? The question you have to answer to get the hint is Albert Einstein lost 20 years of work when his Pomeranian ate one of his notebooks. Is that true or false?
I mean, I feel like a Pomeranian couldn't eat an entire notebook. I'm gonna go with false.
Correct. Uh, the first half of the answer is CYRUS.
Oh. Okay. I know who that is. And I know that Joss Whedon was really particular about having, like, there were only a handful of actors that he worked with twice on Buffy, let alone other shows.
Yep.
So I know who the character Cyrus is, but I don't know who the other person is that he played.
Okay. It would be Cyrus and Andrew. Do you remember Andrew?
Tom Link, whoa! I missed that one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice. Nice.
There was the guy that played Wesley was actually in the Marvel films. And if you get, like, I swear to God they went through it and deleted it, but there is this tiny fracture of a scene where he tilts his head this specific way and you can tell that it's Wesley. And I swear to God they've scrubbed it from all the films, but it's there. And Joss Whedon directed, for those of you that don't know, he directed Avengers. And I always thought that was so cool because he was so particular about not using the same actor twice in different shows and movies because A, he wanted to give lots of people different range, but also because he didn't want people being like, oh, you're from Buffy or you're from Angel or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually really surprised that I missed that. That's good. I'm impressed with you right now.
All right, nice. I'm glad. I was kind of nervous because I was like, God damn it, I don't know like the full level of like these questions, but like just as like a fanboy, I I've gone into sort of weird rabbit holes. So like when somebody starts going like in this episode when I'm just like, yo, that is like you can't have just like seen one or two episodes. You have to have like seen the whole series multiple times, that sort of thing.
I remember when the last episode of Buffy aired, like the last episode, my mom was working at a wildlife rescue organization at the time, and she had to spend the night because they were doing an open house the next day. And I called her and I was like, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? And I was crying and my mom hates vampires. Like, she's not a vampire fan. She's not into Buffy and Angel at all. Yeah. But I had watched Buffy and Angel so often that, like, by the end of it, she was just like, screw it. I just want to know how it's going to end at this point because I forced her to watch it with me. Nice. I have seen them so many times. I know most of them off by heart.
Oh my God. I'll tell you right now, there's been a ton of shows that my family just goes, yeah, I don't really want to watch this, but then I'll just put it on and just watch it in front of them so much that they're like,
they get into it.
I've seen like 3 seasons of this already. How am I not going to continue watching this?
It's like Star Wars. Once you, like, even if you've only seen a little bit of Star Wars, you know all the references.
Yeah,
you
for
can't,
sure.
Like, you can't when you live with a fan, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah, for sure you are. For sure you are, because my wife is absolutely SOL. All right. What did Buffy describe herself as in the last ever episode, Chosen?
That's such a convoluted question. That's not fair.
I mean, we're getting up there.
That was such a good episode. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it, because the thing that I remember about that episode the most was when she was talking about being a hero and like what it means to be a Slayer. I don't know the answer to the question, but I do remember that episode, and it was a good one.
Okay. All right. A full forfeit on this question.
Full forfeit.
Okay. For those who are itching for the answer is cookie dough.
Right. I've even written about being cookie dough. That's just sad.
Oh. Man,
I'm letting all the Joss fans down.
I'm telling you, it's those little bits that you're just like, I'm never gonna forget this. That just skate right by you.
That was another good one, because like everyone says that Angel was her one true love, but I actually think it was Spike, because Spike was the one that was like, I accept you as you are, and I don't want to change you. I just want to love you. I just want to be with you, even if that means just being a friend. And that whole cookie dough line was so transformative for women around the world. Yeah. Like, I don't know a woman that hasn't written about being cookie dough at one point or another.
Wow. Okay. Sounds amazing.
I can't believe I missed that. Like, I'm so disappointed in myself.
All right, let's move on to the next one before you keep beating yourself up over this.
All
right. The second season, 2-part episode, showed the gang thinking about their future careers. It was appropriately titled, "What's My Line?" Who said it in the episode?
Who said, "What's my line"?
Yes.
I really feel like that was Xander.
Is that your final answer?
This is such an excuse to go back and watch Buffy and Angel again. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Xander. It's probably wrong, but I'm okay with it.
Okay. It's Buffy. Buffy said the line.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give myself a pass on that one, because that's season 2, and that was like 30 years ago. So.
Okay.
Not to hate myself or anything.
Okay, here we go. Season 7 gives clues of the season's big bad right from the first episode. One of the clues we're continuously given is "From beneath you, it devours." The episode is entitled "Beneath You." Who is the first to say this often repeated omen?
Giles? Really?
Yeah. It says, and you can totally correct me if this is not it, but it says German potential slayer. I don't even know who that is. It seems like, I mean, okay, let me read the full answer. The German potential is seen being killed by bringers in Buffy's dream. However, we are to believe it really happened. At the end of the dream, the now dead German potential turns and says, "From beneath you it devours," in a disembodied voice. So it does seem like a really like side character, because when you really cast someone and their character name is German potential slayer.
See, that's funny though, because I remember there was another episode, like a Christmas episode in the earlier seasons, where the bringers are underneath a Christmas tree lot, and they're already trying to bring up the first evil, and Buffy's like, oh hell no, and she just kills them.
Yeah.
Like in 30 seconds, she just destroys them. And that's why I liked that arc, because they brought the bringers back, and it was like the more that Buffy killed, the more powerful they got, and the more powerful the first evil got. So that was really cool. But I honestly have like no recollection of that dream.
Okay.
There is a Buffy fan out there
if
going,
for whatever reason any of these answers aren't correct, I would love to have the Buffy fans in the comments just tearing me a new one and letting me know what the correct answer is. So feel free, guys.
Send them to him, though. Don't send them to me.
Yeah, no, not to her, to me specifically. All right. In the 4th season, Spike breaks apart the Scooby Gang using the Woku effect. Or Woku effect. This is also the name of the episode, but who refers to this tactic that way?
These questions suck. Because they're really good.
They weren't meant to be easy. Especially not the back end.
Damn. I feel like it was Xander and Willow that figured it out.
Yes, but who refers to the method as the Yoku effect? Which character, I guess, dubbed it that?
Oh, okay. I feel like that would be a Xander reference. I feel like that's something he'd say.
Final answer?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. The answer is Spike. Spike himself dubbed it the Yoku effect. Or, yeah, the Yoku factor. My mistake. The Yoku factor.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Next one. The second episode of the 2-part pilot of the series is The Harvest. Referring to the ritual the master requires to be freed. It is therefore mentioned a few times in the episode. Who is the first to mention it, not only in this episode, but in Welcome to the Hellmouth as well?
Giles.
Final answer?
Yeah. Seriously?
It's actually Angel.
Right.
The answer is Angel.
That's right, because he talks about how the harvest is coming and the master. Yeah, okay.
All right.
I remember that.
Okay.
I'm ashamed, y'all. I'm sorry to the Buffy fans out there. I am ashamed of myself.
Final question. I Only Have Eyes for You is an episode in the 2nd season dealing a lot with Buffy's feelings about Angel since he turned evil. None of the characters says the episode name, but what is it referred to?
Isn't that a song from like the 1940s?
A song from the 1940s?
I think so.
Oh, you're so close.
I know it's like iffy, but I'm gonna go with that because I can't figure out if it's about the song or if it's there's a flashback where the same way that Angel treats Buffy in that whole season is how he treated Drusilla at one point. And it's kind of like, this is the pattern, like the abusive relationship pattern.
Yeah.
and I can't figure out which is which, so I think I'm gonna go with the song.
With the song?
Yeah, I think it refers to the song.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. It's a song by the same name, and it's a 50s song.
Okay.
Not a 1940s song. But it is a 50s song.
That's funny.
Okay, so you have, at the end of all of this, 13 points, which would make you a culture dork.
I will take it.
So thank you very much for being on Culture Nerds. We'd love to have you back to try again and get up to full Culture Nerd champion status. It's been a pleasure. If you could go ahead and say goodbye to our listeners, we'll be signing off.
Thank you, guys. I apologize for not being a full culture nerd. To be fair, it has been like 15 years since that show's been on the air. And I don't think I did too badly considering like all the stuff that's come after.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, all the Buffy diehards who need to correct my answers if I got them incorrectly or if I didn't ask the questions the appropriate way, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. That's been another episode of Culture Nerds. Remember, we all have passions and fandoms, so keep on learning and exploring the RPG of life. You never know when you're going to level up next. Maybe you can be a culture nerd. Thank you for the support. See you next week, nerds.